The next presenter is Pharmacist Ojo Samuel. Pharmacist Ojo, are you here? He's presenting on legal aspects of drug information practices. 5 minutes. You ready? Okay, timer. Start.
Good morning, members of the high table, distinguished pharmacists, good morning. I'll be making a presentation on the legal aspects of drug information practices. This is an outline, and the legal aspects of pharmacy is one that has evolved with time and is increasingly getting attention from both general practitioners and most especially from drug information specialists. The responsibility of providing drug information is a core part of the pharmacy profession. You know, the community sees us as drug experts, and even at every point on personal referral basis, we are asked drug-related information. And by drug-related information, I'm talking about current, critically examined and relevant data about drugs and drug use in a given patient in a particular situation. Now, the reason why this study had to be done was because we have observed that in recent times, more litigation is coming against pharmacists, both in diaspora and locally. You know, I heard of a situation of a family friend wanting to sue a pharmacist because they did not warn the patient of adverse drug reactions. And so the pharmacy profession is assuming an increased legal responsibility to provide drug information in the daily practice of pharmacists supervised patient care. And so it is imperative that every pharmacist, irrespective of our specialization, have a knowledge of the legal aspects of pharmacy. So the objective was to summarize the legal aspects of the provision of drug information, to highlight the impact of legal liability on the pharmacy profession in the area of provision of drug information, and also to emphasize the importance and need of drug information providers to have knowledge in this area. So this presentation is a condensed compilation of what pharmacists need to know regarding this subject. So a literature review was done using internet-based search engines like Google Scholar, PubMed, and Access Pharmacy databases. The legal aspects and recommendations were made on how pharmacists can apply this knowledge in the provision of drug information in Nigeria, and this was compiled. Now, these are our findings. Today, pharmacists providing drug information, be they generalists or DI specialists, are more likely to be held to the same standards as physicians when determining the standard of care. The pharmacist's duty to warn of foreseeable complications of drug therapy is becoming a recognized part of the expanded legal responsibility of pharmacists. Where the patient is at higher risk than the general population, the courts have uniformly found liability. Every pharmacist must understand risk assessment and risk management, because for you to provide an information that can be used by the patient, you need to have details about this patient. So published studies for drug information centers have reported that 41% to 83% of requested information is patient-specific or judgmental in nature. Recent cases against pharmacists have held that pharmacists who gain information about the unique susceptibility of a patient are liable for failure to one of the risks. So, for example, you might have an electronic database that gives you access to that patient's records, and this puts you in a greater case of liability. And the future of pharmacists as drug information providers clearly lies in their ability to provide consultative drug information services. Currently, most litigations concerning pharmacists involve negligence. In legal terms, we call that tort liability. And drug information providers can protect themselves against liability through adequate documentation, using disclaimers or exculpatory clauses. And currently, most of the drug information being obtained by practitioners and drug users is from the internet and electronic sources. And we were surprised to find that over 25% of the content on the internet are actually health-related information. And so we pharmacists must understand this. Conclusion: an understanding of the legal aspects of drug information can help practitioners in day-to-day practice, as well as provide some possible ways to protect himself or herself in the legal system. Thus, 21st century pharmacists must be aware of the possible ways legal liability can be incurred. We have a few recommendations, and the summary of it is that every pharmacist must exercise due care in providing pharmaceutical care, because if we are not careful, it's possible that a patient might easily bring a litigation. And most especially, it was also observed that many cases of litigation occurred because the patients were not happy with their pharmacist. That means, in simple terms, they just did not like the pharmacist. And so to prevent litigation in most cases, it is very important to build a right relationship with your patients. Thank you.
Thank you.